gonna stop laughing.
I know. I'm trying to stop laughing because I know I laugh a lot. Okay. Hello, all of you wayward spirits. My name is Liz Ashley, and I am so obsessed with Supernatural. I decided to do some research, Winchester style, on anything and everything mentioned in the show. And though the show has sadly ended, this podcast is going to keep the family together. So, what do you say? Do you want to join me on the hunt? All right, so today's episode is a very special episode. It's going to be a little bit different than normal. So today we are actually talking to Melissa, and she owns a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Baby Replica. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Her name is Vidia, and I am just so excited that you get to hear our conversation. It was so much fun, so I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. And yeah, that is our episode today. So without a further ado, here is our conversation. Oh my gosh, I love that you're in the car though. That's so amazing.
I was like, I might as well. I don't know. I was like, maybe she'd like it.
I love it, and I love your shirt.
How do you go all on theme? So
yes, I love that so much.
yay.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on here. I'm so excited.
Me too.
I just I see all of your posts on Instagram and I'm like, that's so cool. Like, you make me want to have a replica baby. Like, that's amazing.
I never thought I would, so here we are.
Yeah.
So hey, I'm Melissa. And I have a Supernatural car.
So, okay. So how did you get into the Supernatural fandom? Like, what drew you to the fandom?
So it's actually a little odd, I might, most people would say, but my grandmother was so into the Sci-Fi Network and CW, and every time I went to her house, it was either the Food Network or some other type of ghost hunting show. And so that's kind of how I saw Supernatural for the first time, was always whenever I went to my Nana's house, and kind of got a little hooked on it from there. So
I love that. That's so cool. See, everyone in my family is like, oh, Supernatural. They don't even know what it is. They're like, oh, is that your Supernatural thing? And I'm like, yes, it is.
After I convinced my dad to help me build the car, he got all hooked on it, and I think he watched all 15 seasons in 2 months or something.
Yes, that is amazing. So your dad help you with the car? When did?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
When did you decide? How far along into the fandom were you like, I am going to make it? When did that come about? How did that come about?
So I was actually sitting on my couch, and I think season 15 had come out, and I was rewatching because I was sick of waiting for the next episode.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there one day, and my fiance collects antique military vehicles. So we have a Hummer and all this other stuff. But I said, I just told him one day, I'm like, as I'm binge watching, I said, my dream car, it's a 1967 Chevy Impala. And he just kind of looks at me and he goes, a 4-door or a 2-door? And I'm like, a 4-door. And we have one. I was like, are you joking? He's like, yeah, my grandmother has one.
Oh,
and I'm like, no. I'm like, it's not the right one. In my head, I'm like, it's not the right one.
It can't be.
So a couple weeks go by, and we would go to his uncle's house, and we go walk into the garage, and I'm pretty sure the look on my face, they all just, I'm floored. There is this white 1967 Ford Impala just packed into this, garage. And I'm like, why is this not? I'm like, this isn't real. So come to find out, his grandmother had bought it in 1967 from the Chevy dealership, and this was her car. She wouldn't let her, her husband couldn't drive it, and all that kind of sort of thing. And I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it. So I don't remember. It must have been was probably October. And so January like 2nd, we were ripping it apart and started. It took a year and a half to like get drivable. But
wow.
So it's kind of my grandmother got me into it, and his grandmother had the car.
It was meant to be. Like, I can't even, like, it was like fate. Like, that's so amazing.
Like, I still don't believe it happened, and I'm sitting in it. So,
like, I just think that's like, that is the coolest story ever. Like, that's amazing. It's like,
yeah.
I love the word serendipity, and I feel like that's what it is. It's like serendipity.
I remember looking at him going, no, he doesn't have the right one. There's no way. No way there's that car is sitting in one of the garages.
Oh my gosh. So you had to paint it black? So it was white before you had to paint it black. Oh wow.
Yep. So it was white. It had teal interior.
Oh.
So we ripped it completely apart. We took the body off the frame, redid like there are bolts in here that probably weren't painted in the factory, and we did it. So it was, my dad has taught auto body and auto restoration for about 28 years. And so I'm like, he lives up in Vermont and I'm down in Virginia. I said, come on down and paint my car. So he did all the body work, and then my fiance, or future father-in-law, and his brothers did all the mechanics and putting it back together. So it literally was our little family project. And
so cool.
Yeah, I love it.
That's so
a fun
cool.
little story.
Is your fiance into Supernatural, or was this just like something you were like, we have to do this?
Yeah, no, it was more like, whatever, okay, if that's what you want to do.
It's like, all right, whatever.
Don't drive it in the rain, and that's pretty much
oh my gosh, that's so cool. So I saw on Instagram that you have like so you have like the symbols on the trunk, and then I saw that you have the sticker of the SW and the DW. Do you have the army men?
I do. Yep. I can totally show you too. Oh, actually I can right now. It's right here.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm obsessed with
there's a flip. Okay. So he's right there.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, and then if you look back here, you also got the cooler as well.
Oh my god, that is so cool. Okay, I'm like freaking out now. That's amazing.
That was another little project that we found. That took some hunting too.
Really?
We found it at an antique store in Michigan. They just randomly posted it online. And of course, people that know that that's a Supernatural cooler, they're like, $300. You have to fix it. This antique store is like $20, and we saw it. It was pink. I went, oh god, I want it.
You're like, I need to buy it.
Yep. And so she probably had it listed for like an hour, and she's like, why is this person like all of a sudden making me ship this cooler to Virginia? It's important. Okay, it's important.
Like, what is the big deal with this cooler?
And she's like, well, I did some research and I see why you wanted it. I'm like, sorry.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. That's
amazing. I'm a nerd.
No, I think it's wonderful. Like I have a little army man too, but I don't have I don't have that little compartment in my car, so I just like stuck them in my little, I don't know, there's like a little thing between my radio, and I just stuck them there. I said, well, it'll remind me of Supernatural.
Exactly. It counts. It totally counts.
Yeah. And I'm sure people getting in my car like, what is that little army man for?
Conversation starter.
Right? Like, why is there this little army man in our car? So do you like, I saw all the pictures on your Instagram, like it's beautiful. Like it is
Thank
beautiful.
you.
So so I know you named it. So like what's the name, and like how did you come up with that?
So her name is Vidia. So when you see the name Vidia, I always say it's like video with an A. So Vidia. And so it's a combination of my grandmother Diana and his grandmother Vivian. So we put it together and made Vidia. And because I was trying to come up with something, everybody names them after characters, and there's so many Supernatural cars out there that are named after characters. I'm like, I want it to be unique. And there's one out of Seattle, and they're Venator, and it stands for hunter in Latin. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I need to find something cool.
That is
so when I'm looking up the meaning of Vivian, it means like divine. And then Diana's divine and Vivian is living or something like that. So it's heaven while alive, or heaven on earth. And I'm like, that kind of matches what the car means to the boys. And so I'm like, okay, it's all meant to be. I'm like going with it. So that's where it took me 2 years to come up with a name because I was so picky about it.
I love that though. Like I really like how you did that though, because that's really how it came about, was like the two grandmas. And that's just, I think that is like the coolest story ever. Like that's an awesome story.
It makes me all like giddy and teary and all the emotions at once. I don't know. Yeah. And neither one of them, are with us anymore. So it's kind of like neither one of them saw it, but at least it honors them.
Yeah, it honors them in a really cool way, I think. And like, I just think that's so cool.
Thank you.
So do you do like, I know you do like photos, like you do your photos, but do you ever like take people on drives, or like, do you ever do anything?
Yeah. I have some friends. I have a couple friends that are like really into it. And of course you get in the car and they're like, we have a little moment. And then the real moment comes when you turn the radio on and Kansas starts, playing, and they're like, oh my God. So I do have a couple friends that we drive around with, slowly getting into like the car shows around here. And of course, COVID and everything kind of shut those down for a while. And you can always see, there are people that just appreciate that it's an old car and it's redone. But then you can watch the people as they go around the back and they see the devil strap and they're like, they're fans because they know instantly. The people that look at it go, they have no idea. But the fans just, oh my God. So it's really fun to just watch people and see when someone, the fandom comes around.
Like recognizes it. I think that's so cool. Like I can imagine that it'd be pretty interesting to watch people react.
And then when you get people that don't know the show, they're like, what's it about? I'm like, oh, they hunt monsters. There's angels and demons. And they're just kind of like, okay, move around. What kind of engine is it?
Like, let's get off the subject.
I can't explain 15 seasons of the show. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's so funny. I don't remember who I was talking to, but I was talking to someone and they're like, oh, I think it was at work. I was in a meeting and they're like, what's your favorite show? And I was like, Supernatural. They're like, oh, what's that? And I was like, I'm like,
I'll send you some clip notes.
I'm like, it's really complicated. I don't know if I can explain it to you in the amount of time we have.
Do you want to set up a couple of classes? We can work on that later.
It's so funny, and I think it's so funny. But I love that. I love that people get to see it. Like, that's so cool.
One of my favorite ones was one of the times we were out taking pictures with me and my sister, and the park ranger truck. I'm like, okay. He goes, they get out and he's like, so if I asked for Sam and Deemore, would you know what I was talking about? I'm like, no, not at all.
That's amazing.
So there's every once in a while you'll get the people that are like, yeah.
That are like, they're fans because they're like, oh
yep.
my gosh.
Mm-hmm. It's very fun.
That's so cool. I know. Every time I see it, I'm like, I just want to be in that car. Like, I just want to be in that car. It looks so cool.
Yeah, and it's big. That's for sure. You do not miss it. It's huge.
It doesn't look big in the show. Like, I guess it looks smaller than it is, I guess. It's
the jokes that, oh my gosh, how are they stuffing 2-3 people in that trunk?
Yeah.
It's not a joke. It's not so much room
back there. It's real.
I'm like, that's why they use this car for the show. Because they can put so much stuff back there.
I love that though. Like, I love that you know that, because I think I was probably one of those people that I'm like, how did Jared sit in there? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, no, it's huge.
That's so cool. I would have never known that. That's so cool. So do you have like a favorite like experience or favorite like story about this or anything like that?
I think just convincing my dad and mother-in-law and the uncles that I had a vision that this was going to turn out good. Okay. Yes, I need tan floors. I need black seats. Okay. Then, so one of the first car shows we went to, we didn't have the the devil's trap in it yet. And I'm like, I'm gonna go sit back there and paint this, and they all just left me alone in the bay for like 2 hours. And I come back and they look at it, and I'm like, this is what it's supposed to look like, and this is what it. Oh, good job. What's it for?
Like, why?
So yeah. So they're all very proud, and they're also like
a little confused. Like a little like, okay.
They're like, whatever. Again, don't drive it in the rain. It's fine.
That's just so funny to me though, because it's like, oh yeah, I have to do this devil's trap. And I think most people, if you don't know what Supernatural is, are like, what do you mean devil's trap?
Yeah. I have one friend, he's like, the girl with the pentagram in her trunk. I'm like, it's not entirely wrong, but it's not also, it's a little more than that.
like you're on the right track, but like it's not what it is. No. I feel like that happens to me all the time when I wear like Supernatural merch and it has like the anti-possession symbol on it. Like people look at me and I'm like, I swear it is a good thing.
I promise, it's protection.
Right, like I promise. That's so
yep.
I love that so much. Yeah, I don't know. Is there any like car show that you like? Like, wait, was there any car show that was your favorite, or like? Yeah, sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. We've only gone to one. Because again, we actually just finished, and then like, the whole COVID thing hit. And there's one this weekend, but there's a 70% chance of rain. I'm like, well, it's probably not gonna happen. But yeah, I was trying to get to them. They have a bunch of them that go on here. I gotta find a group that is like car or TV show movie replicas and just get connected and be like, hey, let's all go drive around and see.
Wouldn't that be so funny? Have you seen the memes with like the mystery machine? And
so I was in the Walmart parking lot one day at work, and I am walking around, and the full-size mystery machine drives by, and I'm like, oh, I would look so weird if I chased them down right now to tell them we need to get together. And I never ended up doing it. So I have to find someone, anybody in Central, North, Southern Virginia. Like, yeah, we will do that meme somewhere.
Yes, that would be, oh my gosh, that would be so cool. That'd be epic. Like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
It's on the to-do list for sure.
Have you like have you ever had any like fandom experiences, or like just like random people like noticing you, other than the ranger shift that you were talking about, but like is there anyone that you've just been like, oh my gosh, and they just like bombard you?
Not yet. I don't know if it's just where we are that there's not a whole lot of people that know like what it is. So, but I'm hoping, and again, trying to get out there more now that it's done for the most part. I mean, there's always more stuff to do to it, but I definitely want to try and get to like I said, a group that's like understands. Yeah. It's a replica. It's supposed to look like that.
It's a big deal. Like this is.
It is.
It's a huge deal. Like to me, this is the coolest thing ever. That's why I was like, if I saw that in a parking lot or anywhere, I would freak out. I would be like, oh my god.
Yeah, and I would too if I saw one. There's a couple that I follow on Instagram, and I'm like, man, I'm such a fangirl over their car too. And like one of them, I don't know if you've ever seen Betty. She's up in like Michigan, or she's got like her trunk is goals. Like eventually.
I know. I'm like, that's so much stuff. I'm like, where do you even get all that stuff from?
Yeah, like that's a lot. That's an even harder thing to collect than the car. I swear. Like there's so many things.
And then like try taking that to a car show and you have all these like weapons in the back.
Yeah. It's like, here's the car I'm showing. Here's the van with all my tote bins that I need to load into it once we park it.
Like I can't have all this stuff in the back. They'll think I'm crazy.
I promise it's fake.
I promise I'm not trying to hurt anyone. Like that's so
I've been to like different craft shows, and I've seen the salt round for shotgun shells. I'm like, don't buy it yet. Don't buy it yet. But I will eventually.
So cool. That's so cool. Oh
I don't think it's anything to do with the show. I think it's something for like actual hunting, or I don't know. But I'm like, I'm gonna go up to him and be like, I need 12. That's it.
That's so
Can I have the box? Like,
I wonder how many people have bought that from them that are just like Supernatural fans, and they're just like, yeah,
mhm.
there's no practical use for this. I just want
Yes, exactly.
it. That's so funny. That's awesome.
It's fun.
Do you have any like you said that there's still work you want to do, like what else do you want to do to it, or like what are your goals?
So one of them, it's actually sitting in the house. I got the chrome wheel well trim. That's another thing that makes it supernatural. So that's gonna go on eventually. Of course, the weapons box in the trunk, because it's empty. I mean, other than the devil's trap. The exhaust, like other mechanical stuff, like the exhaust out the back instead of the sides, like just other little things that make it kind of the show car. And I wouldn't say it's, screen accurate by any means. I mean, it's not a stock AC, stuff like that. But it's definitely a tribute to it, and comfortable to drive around, as the case may be.
That's so cool, and I love that you drive it around.
I did yesterday. I was like, I'm just gonna go cruise around for a while.
That's the best thing ever. Like that seems so fun. Like just drive around in Baby. Oh my gosh. And
I think I get more reactions from the fact that I'm a girl driving this old car.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, you get the like approval nod.
Oh, she knows what's up.
That's the other thing about car shows. Like I'll be sitting there and the uncles and the everybody's sitting around, and the guys will come up. Whose car is this? One will point this way. He'll look to the guy next to me. That one will point this way. He'll look.
And they're like, yep, it's me.
Right here. Really? I promise.
I love that though. You're like, yes, it is mine. Like that's amazing to me.
It's comical to say the least.
I think it's badass. Like total
Thank
badass. I love it.
I do too.
That's amazing. And this has nothing to do with anything. I was just curious. What does your tattoo say?
Oh, even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise.
Aww,
it's from Les Mis.
That's so cool.
It's one of those. It's kind of like Jared's always keep fighting.
Yeah.
But just a little more. It'll get the darkness will go away.
Yeah.
The mirror will subside.
I love that. That's so cute. Sorry. I love tattoos. That's why I was like, I saw it and I was like, oh, I just have to ask, what does it say?
Yeah, I'm the least tattooed in my family. I got a sister that's full on Harry Potter sleeve. I got another,
I'm the most tattooed in my family. I have 5, and every time they ask me like, how many do you have now? And I'm like 5, and they're like, oh my gosh.
Eventually just connect them and you can say 1.
Right? I'm like I'm sorry, but I'm getting more, so like I don't it's gonna keep going.
Do you have supernatural tattoos?
I have 1. So it's always keep fighting, and then it has I want more though. Like there's a cast quote I want with his wings, and then I have to do something for Dean. If I'm gonna do something for like Jared and Cass, like I have to do something for Dean. So I don't know, I'm still deciding. Do you ever plan on getting one for Supernatural?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have the big thing. So I'm like, do I need a tattoo if I'm driving my you should so, but I'm also like super picky when it comes to art, I'll like something for a while. It took me a really long time to decide to do that one.
It's a big decision.
I like the Mark Kane one too. I see that one a lot. And I think I'm like, that's a unique one too that only people that know the show would know.
I've seen someone with that. Like I went to a store and this guy, I was like, oh my God, I love your tattoo. He was like, oh, thanks. Nobody ever like recognizes it.
Yep.
It's like, yes, only real fans will recognize it.
Like I have another sister with the rebellion symbol on her wrist, and that's you can tell when you're among fans and other nerds, and when they recognize your symbol.
You're like, oh yay.
My people.
Right, like, oh my gosh. That's amazing. So I guess I'm just gonna ask you like a few more questions, but so this is gonna be more about Supernatural and not the car, but okay, who's your
that's cool
favorite character?
I actually get that question a lot because of the car from like the people online.
Oh,
Like, are you a Sam or are you a Dean? And I'm like, I don't actually know. I'm like, so I I don't want to commit to this. I don't.
no, it's a hard question. You don't have to.
No, I know. I was being funny. I probably Dean. Dean might be my favorite character, but I also love Cass. And then you get into like, but I really love Crowley and I love Lucy and I love Meg. So
It's
just keeps going.
It's a really hard show to pick your favorite because you're like, but I love everyone.
Yes,
and there's like so many new characters, and it's like it's so funny because characters could be in there for like 2 or 3 episodes, and you're like, no, but they're amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like Balthazar. Love Balthazar.
I love Balthazar. Yes, I love Meg too. Like Meg, the second one is just so amazing. She's one of my favorites. I I don't think like I love Sam, and as you can tell, I love Jared Padalecki, but I don't think he's my favorite character, and that sounds weird to say. I think it's I love Chuck. I know everybody hates him, and I'm like, but I love him. I don't love him when he's being mean. I don't know. I just love that whole story. I love his storyline, I guess. Like, yeah.
The one with the where they're in the mansion and he has to like talk to everybody and distract them, I think is probably one of the funniest scenes that comes to mind when it comes to Chuck. It's just that one gets me every time. I don't know how many times I've watched the show over and over, and that one always gets me.
Always. It's my favorite line in that episode is where he was like, yeah, I lost my virginity, but then she went around telling everybody it wasn't real.
You don't know what he's talking about until later when you find out who he is. Yeah, that was.
That's why it's my favorite, because it's the most like undercover like joke ever, and it just is so funny after you know what we really is.
Yeah, and that brings up like Gabriel too. Like, loved Gabriel. I was pretty heartbroken when they killed him off. I'm like, no, he's coming back, because he's come back what 4 times. You're like, no, it's not. In denial, it's not happening.
He never did. And I was like, oh. Yeah, I know. I loved him too. I was trying to think of who else I love. I don't know. I love everyone. They're just amazing. The only person I don't like is Amelia.
Why didn't I remember who that is?
That's in like I think it's season 8, where he like hits the dog and is with the
we know why we don't like her.
Yeah, well, I also don't like the storyline. I'm like, he would never leave Dean. I don't care. He would never. That would never happen.
I will argue this.
Yes, and I'm like, no. Yeah, no, it's crazy.
I also didn't like was it was one of the Nights of Hell. It's the one that took Asmodeus. Did not like him. I can officially say it. Did not like him.
A lot of people don't like him. What I like about him is I like that he calls them the brothers Winchester. I don't know why. I just think it's so cool. He's like, the brothers Winchester. And I'm like, ah.
And then you got Catch, who you like hate and then you love.
Yes. I hated him at first, but when I rewatched it, I was like, okay, he is a little bit likable. Like,
he has a little redemption, tiny bit in there. And just to prove like how much understanding my boyfriend is and how much he, or fiance. See, I keep forgetting to say that. So he gave me my ring in my cooler. He like handed me my cooler when we were finally done restoring it, and I opened it and it was in it.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That's like goals. That is literally
like, we're such a nerd.
No, that's amazing.
Nobody else will ever have that story. So
right. Oh my gosh. That is so cool. Oh my gosh. I am so happy for you. That's amazing.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
It was shocking.
But yeah. Wow. And that's really thoughtful. Like, he knows like what was gonna make you happy.
Yeah. He listened. That's good. Good point.
That's so cute. Oh my gosh. I love all your stories. They're just so amazing. It was so amazing talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on. Seriously.
Yeah, this was super fun.
But yeah, if you want to like say like shout out your Instagram or whatever so people can find you because she has really cool photos.
Hey, I'm Melissa. I am the owner of Vidia, a supernatural replica car out of Virginia. You can check us out on Instagram. It's at Vidia _ the Impala. Yeah, we post a lot of pictures and reels. I've been getting into reels. We like those.
And they look awesome. The pictures are so good. Like,
thank you.
Do you take them yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're like those are really good pictures. Like,
thank you.
They look like a professional camera or something.
No, just
so cool. That's so
you too can take great pictures
with your iPhone.
This is not an ad.
Although if iPhone wants to sponsor me, I'm down.
Yeah. See, you're looking out. I appreciate this right here.
That's so fun. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. All right, it was so nice meeting you, and like literally, we have to talk again because this was so fun.
Yeah, definitely. I love talking about supernatural with people. So yeah, anytime.
All right. Well, that was it. Thank you so much for listening. I really want to go see that Baby Replica in person now and meet you in person. So thank you so much to Melissa for coming on. I hope to see you soon. And thank you so much to all of my fellow Wayward Spirits for joining me on this journey today. And if you want to go on another hunt with me, make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications or subscribe on Spotify because next week we are hunting Dreamwalkers. Yes, so exciting. I can't wait. That means we're going to talk about Kaya. Okay, I love Kaya. And if you want some more Wayward Spirit Pod, there's some extra content on Patreon. Check us out on Patreon at Wayward Spirit Pod. There is bloopers, behind the scenes, visual episodes to season 1 and 2, and there is going to be a exclusive podcast for Patreon coming really soon. So I'll let you know when that comes. All right. If you want even more Wayward Spirit Pod, check us out on Instagram. Our podcast is at Wayward Spirit Pod. The YouTube is at Wayward Spirit TV. Yeah, well, all right. Thank you so much. I will see all of you Wayward Spirits next week. And don't forget to stay spooky. Bye.